The only guest that will ever step foot on this podcast that has not only backflipped on a motorcycle,
What?
but has done it in Travis Pastrana's foam pit.
That is so awesome. Today we have Kyle Lawson and we have Ryan Abler on lunch break. And we've got some cool stuff going on. We've got new things. If you could look on our Facebook page, our Instagram, and our YouTube, it's The Real Lunch Break. Give us a like, a follow, give us a thumbs up. All your questions, too, you could send to our pages. Thank you. And we've got some big announcements, too. We had Karen Go on here, which was an awesome show, and she did all kinds of talking about her huge transition. I didn't even know she was in New York during 9/11, but it was pretty cool. But she also talked about her big transition, how she went from New York City, 9/11, all the way to Bakersfield, running a nonprofit and doing, I mean, that's a huge move. So one of the questions that came in, like, how do you do that? Have you ever done that? Like a huge transition.
It's also an interesting move. Like, why Bakersfield?
Yeah.
So many-
Yeah. The mini Texas of California. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you want to go first, Kyle, and kind of talk about the transition that you made? I mean,
yeah. So it's interesting. We don't realize that a lot of times we'll look back and we don't realize we made a big move at a point in our life until, you know, you're asked about it. Because at the moment, you just think you're operating in the moment. You know, it's probably a big decision. Like mine, I had kind of faked my way into my dream job. Well, actually, I had it. I was a safety manager, 24 years old, great job, like, company truck, who wouldn't want it type thing. And I made the move. I felt called into real estate, which I had kids, wife, house, mortgage, the whole nine. I'm like, dude, wait, so there's no guaranteed salary? Like, and no insurance. And so I didn't realize until later on how big of a deal that was. I'm like, dang, I put it all on the table. So that was my big move.
Before the big real estate boom.
Oh yeah,
right?
This was like 5-6 years ago now at this point when I had started working on it. And so this, I mean, it was decent, but it's not what it was now. Like now everybody's making money, but it was a big move, definitely for me.
Yeah, that's a huge change. I think for me, like the biggest transition I ever made was I went from working outside, landscaping and doing that kind of stuff. And then when I started following God, he kind of gave me this pull to go somewhere else. And I like shut all that down. I ended up working at a hospital, Memorial Hospital.
I didn't know that.
And I've worked with people with special needs, but it was a huge transition from being like rough hands to like soft hands who are dried out from hand sanitizer all the time.
Well, that was me going from construction for 10 years to that.
Oh yeah.
But before you, and which we'll dive into what you're doing, I just recently learned that you were in a completely different line of work before the line of work that you're in now, right?
Right. Yeah, I was in right out of high school and stuff like that. I got into the motorcycle industry, working at motorcycle shops and stuff like that. And that was my passion. I just loved motocross, the motocross scene and stuff like that. I've been in it since I was 2. And so whenever I met my wife, which was a blessing. We met at a motocross race and stuff. And then I got to know her family and stuff. And
was she there for you?
She was there for her brother, and he was a friend of mine.
Okay, fair.
Right.
Fair.
And then, we just met at a race, and I just knew she was the one, and her dad owned a pest control company. So I ended up going to work for them for a little while, and that was just changed my life. Like they really showed me, like, to be like in a family that's centered around Christ. They had a lot of tragedy and stuff in their life.
That is cool.
And just seeing how they lean on God to stay grounded or whatever, and just make it through all this stuff or whatever. It was really cool. It was a huge blessing.
Are they still in business?
Yeah, Killian Pest Control. They're one of the only local
I was
ones here in
expecting
town.
some small mom and pop shop. Like, Killian, probably the most popular name in Bakersfield.
Right, yeah.
Except for during summer, all you hear is Mosquito Joe or something. But other than that, it's Killian everything.
Yeah, so they've been a huge blessing in my life. So that was a big change that it changed my life. So it's been, I'd say that was one. I couldn't come up with one before we talked about this stuff, but yeah, that's got to be it.
That's pretty cool. And know, like when you do the big transitions, I think you kind of make up for it in other ways. Like when I went from working outside really hard, my exercise routine went through the roof because all I did was like hold babies, like easy stuff. Like
you needed to burn that energy.
Oh yeah. I had tons of extra energy. In fact, like one time I had this special need client and they're like, he's going to run. He's going to run. He's going to take off. And I was like, you know what? I haven't ran today. And I was like,
he's like, let him run. Let him get a head start.
How far? I was like, how far do you think you could go? And he's like, I don't know. So I opened the door. I was like, well, I'm not going to fight you. So I threw a backpack on, threw waters in there, and I just started running with him. It was funny, but it transfers. Like when you do those big shifts, God uses everything, every part of it. But it was cool.
Right.
Yeah, that was a cool moment for me for sure.
So you left. Hold on. So you left the Killian pest control. Okay, but like you didn't just pick up a job. You have like a legit career. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a big deal. You provide people power.
Yeah.
We kind of need you. So we're thankful that you moved.
Right. Yeah. My job now is an operator at a power plant. So never thought I would be in that industry
Did
either.
You get it right away? Did you have to apply a bunch?
I tried one time. I met a guy and coming in the motorcycle shop and just talking to everybody and just being personable and stuff like that. He just kind of, I don't know. He wanted to work with me or whatever. So he told me we had a job opening and stuff and go take the test. So I went down and took the test. The first time I failed. And then, that was when I was at the shop, and then I got the pest control job, and then, ended up taking it a few years later. And I think I was ready for it at that time. And then, got the job, and it's been really good job. It gives me a lot of, free time and stuff like that too with the kids and,
definitely. It's like God's plan though. Like it always works out better.
Yeah.
It always is going to work out better, especially when it comes to your family for sure. Well, we've got some special announcements and I think I'm going to hand it over to Mike Harvey over there.
Yeah. So, for Lucky's, a few things going on with Lucky's. First of all, we got, Sire. He is a 7 or 8 year old,
there you go. Now we can hear you.
Okay, I'll start all over. So we have Sire. He's a 7 or 8 year old Rottweiler, and they think he was used for breeding and then just kind of thrown away when they didn't.
Pretty dog. I could see why.
Yeah, he's not cat tested. They say preferably no kids, and I think it also said that he's not great with other dogs. So you don't want to be in a family that's all adults and only dog family. But speaking of Lucky's, we're also gonna we're in touch with the person who runs Lucky's now, so we're gonna be able to go out and do some stuff. Finally, we've been trying to work on that for a while. But
awesome!
Now we're gonna be able to get out there and do something.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's a great place. I mean, I've said it before. It's an awesome place for the dogs.
It's like a luxury resort.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. I always forget about all the details of the dog, so that was great, though. But yeah, they have their own pond. Like the river's right there, but he built them a pond.
So there's that saying. There's the saying that when your wife's mad at you, get sent to the doghouse. Like that wouldn't be a bad one.
That's the one you want to go to.
That's if you're getting sent to the doghouse. That's the one.
Yeah. All right. So this is the fun part of the show. Are you ready, Kyle?
I'm ready. You got it?
All right. I'll do it. All right. So what is something that nobody knows about you that needs to be revealed?
I'm going to hit it with him.
Hit him.
Kyle's the only one that knows this.
What?
On the planet.
On the planet.
Okay.
This summer sometime, or when we're ready, Adrian is going to baptize me.
What?
Yes. I haven't been baptized.
But where? I think is cool.
In the river on a bike ride.
Dude, how rad is that? He said that, and I was like, do you realize that's going to catch Adrian so off guard? He's not even going to know what to say.
I was like, I got to throw a wrench in this whole thing because I got to catch Adrian off guard. I love messing with him.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
So
yeah, show's over.
So you know what's cool? He said that, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, dude, like we need to get real and dive a little bit deeper because you have a really wildly interesting life. I mean, probably more of an interesting life than any just male our age, has had. And I'm sitting here thinking of all the things he could come up with, and that's what was important. So to me, that was cool. Awesome. I thought that was rad for you guys. And that's way cool.
That's cool, Ryan.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while, and I was like, I want to do it on a couple of rides, and it just it didn't work out or whatever. But yeah, so I was like,
that's
these
great.
questions
Oh,
you
the
guys have for
pressure's
me, I was
on,
like-
Adrian. He's gonna get on the bike and he's like, "Is this the day? Is this the day?"
I'll be ready with a water bottle. I'll just be like, today's the day.
So,
That's cool.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's great, man. Well, cool. You got your life now. So we have some pictures, and it kind of describes your life, and some of it. We'll start off when you're like a little kid, right? I think our first picture is when you're a little kid, like on your motorcycle. And who's that guy right there?
So that's me and my dad. I'm about 2. My dad raced growing up and stuff, and he's just, when you're a dad, you want to stick your kid in the helmet, and it's just cool. It's just that was just me. I always wanted to race motorcycles. I was always
That's cool.
Wanted to be around it and stuff. Every time I'd go somewhere, they would say, "Oh, your dad, he was so fast and he was so good. He had the best style and all that stuff."
Did that inspire you?
Yeah, I was always wanted to ride and just be like him. I always wanted people to tell my kids or something, be like, "Hey, yeah, your dad was so fast." So I loved hearing it from everybody about my dad and stuff. So
that's cool because your kids get to say the same thing about you, like that you're fast. That everybody knows that you're fast, that you're really fast. I mean, even your son, like when he goes to a race, we expect him to win because of who his dad is. Kind of like my kids.
I don't put that pressure on.
But I'm just saying, like,
That sounds like a lot.
your dad's awesome. Like they expect your kid to be awesome too, and they usually are. Like
So,
my kids
I never want to let him down. So
yeah,
I was like, I gotta try hard. So.
And I think like in that kid photo, I think there was another kid around the track that you were anointed by God to lay the hammer down. I think his name was Brad Lawson. Like,
oh yeah, he was an early competitor. He sparked me. He made me
So Brad,
try harder.
Brad holds on to those days too. Every now and then, Brad will come out like, "Oh, I'll beat you on a bicycle." He'll hit you with one of those. Right, Brad? That was like 38 years ago. It is in the dust, bro. It's gone. You can't ride that anymore.
That's funny. Oh yeah, he's gonna send me a message.
We gave him a hard time
Right.
though.
Yeah, I definitely told him about that. Well, that's cool.
Yes.
All right, we've got another photo. I think it's you and your dad. And who else is that in that
My
photo?
mom, my sister, and our dog Tangy. But yeah, that's a Metro BMX early days. I think I'm probably 12.
Wow.
Something like that. So, but yeah, we just traveled around as a family and stuff. It was just a fun family sport, and got to pedal and release some energy. I don't know. Bikes is just kind of my thing. I know it. I always think, even now as an adult, I'm like, I'm riding a bicycle, and like people think that's immature or whatever like that, but it's just like a release. It's just awesome. You get a lot of time to think and stuff like that. It's just what you know.
That's all
like,
you've done.
Yeah, like when times get rough, you're like, I don't even know what to do right now, so I just go outside and just start riding wheelies or just, decompress and just have fun too.
Because you can ride a wheelie for like ever.
I saw an Instagram video of him doing like this really long wheelie on a bicycle, and so we have a mutual friend. All of our mutual friend Ryan's got a bike, and I jump on it, and I'm like, hey, I could do one of those wheelies. He's like, bro, I bet you anything. I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, well, I saw him do it. I'm sure it's not that.
It's going to be
hard.
a piece of cake.
It's so hard on those big bikes. It's almost impossible.
And it's cool too, because I know the Metro BMX track has new owners, and they're awesome. I met April and her husband, and I think for me, what I noticed of that place is like so many extreme sport athletes come from those little tracks.
Right.
Like every extreme sport athlete I know in Bakersfield has raced there at one point in time. I think I'm like the only guy.
Right. You need to get out there. It's never too late. You can get out there.
I never raced there.
We'll get a dad class going.
Oh, they do.
Oh, I'm in.
You're in? Okay.
I'm in.
Gosh.
That's done. Jordan's dad now too, though. So
oh, man.
You can't race Jordan. You were a pro, so
yeah, he'll whoop us. He'll whoop us. All right, I think we got another photo in there.
Oh yeah, there we go. That was the day.
Oh, is that the
That's
one?
the
I see the
backflip
number.
day.
Is that really? That's the Pastrana?
So yeah, I got to go back east and mechanic for a girl, Sherry Cruz. And
I've met. Yeah, I know Sherry. Well, I've met her.
Right. Yeah, and so that's a crazy story too, how I got to do that. But yeah, we got to go back to. She ended up dating Travis Pastrana, so we went back there to mechanic for her, and we stayed at Travis Pastrana's house for it was 3 nights. My
Wow.
wife
That's
has,
kind of rad. I was wondering how you got out there. That makes sense. So
Yeah.
is she from Bakersfield?
yeah, she's from Bakersfield.
Oh,
A friend of mine, Randy DeFrancisco, his son is an up and coming writer.
So he just my daughter's just got his like qualifier helmet or something like that. His Jimmy Dean helmet. And he signed
yeah.
it and all. It was
Jimmy
auctioned.
John's,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, not Jimmy Dean.
No.
Yeah.
He got that. My daughter's just got that motorcycle helmet. They think it's the
That's
coolest
cool.
thing.
Yeah, so like how I got hooked up with that was crazy too, and just how the testament of like my wife is just amazing. So my wife and I just gotten married in 2009, and that's wrong. 2008.
Oh, good catch.
Edit that out.
2008, and Randy he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, Sherry's got to go back east and do a race back there." And the girls would race in between the pros. So whenever all the professionals were out there, they would race in between. So he calls me up and he says, "Hey, I need somebody to go back there with Sherry. I can't do it. I got work, and you're the only one I trust to go back there with Sherry and mechanic for her and stuff." And so I'm like, I just got married a month ago, and you want me to travel with an 18-year-old girl? And I'm like, I look at my wife and she's like, "That's like one of your dreams. Like, go." And she's like, she knew Sherry from our families and stuff. All knew each other from riding and all that stuff. Whatever, she's "I'll go." So it was amazing. I got to meet a lot of the pro riders and stuff that I looked up to and all that stuff. And
wow,
it was really cool. And then we got to go to X Games, and then that's where she met Travis. And then the next year we got to go to his house and made it a point to.
And you did a
be able to
backflip?
do I got to do the backflip into the foam pit. We started on.
So
it didn't look
awesome.
promising when we were on the BMX bikes at first, but
We
moving
really have your wife to thank for you having these cool stories.
right. Yeah,
She's
my wife and her
she's
family.
the
pretty much,
MVP.
yeah.
She is. She's like always there too. We did like trash cleanup together.
Yeah.
She was there the whole time. Like I expected to be there the whole time, but she was there the whole time. They put on the Keysville Classic mountain bike race, which is like, people love the idea of a mountain bike race, but it takes so much work.
Right.
Like you're there for 3 days straight. You're not leaving those little canopies, and people are you're gonna get every single complaint on the planet. Like, who said it could be windy here?
Right.
We're in the mountains.
Yeah.
But she's right there with them.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my wife and Melanie Stevenson. They do an amazing job. Those girls work hard. So
Yeah, big shout out to them. All right, I think we got another photo here. Let's see who we got next. Oh, that's me.
that's Adrian. Yeah, I want to throw something in there for you.
Thanks. It's not me, guys. Everybody's looking. But that's Ryan. That's our foothills right there. It's like a hidden jewel.
Right. Yeah, mountain biking's been amazing. Like I was motorcycles, die hard, just full blast motorcycles my whole life. And then I tore my ACL and sidelined me. And then they tell me, the doctors say, the best rehab is getting a mountain bike or something like that for your knee. So I'm like, all right, cool. So as I'm starting to feel better and stuff, I get on Facebook. I'm like, hey, what mountain bike should I get and stuff like that or whatever. And then someone, I can't remember who it was, they tagged Adrian on it. And he's like, Adrian, what should I do? And I'm like, I see Adrian's picture. I'm like, oh, this guy's super serious. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be like that, but
That's funny.
this guy's crazy. I remember it's like you were all arrowed out, just like in it. Your legs look like they were like super huge. I'm like, I don't know. This guy's crazy, but
That's so funny.
I don't know if I want to get that into it. But then here I am putting mountain bike races on. But mountain biking, I haven't met anybody in mountain biking that hasn't been super cool. And then
it's a big community.
Led me to you and here, and we're doing stuff and Bible studies on Thursdays and all that stuff. So it all comes full circle. It's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, especially in those hills. Like those hills have brought lots of people together. Actually, even coming to VBF, I wanted to meet the leadership of VBF. And one of the ways I did it is I went mountain bike riding. I got Vince, Seth, and Josh together. And we went mountain biking together out in the foothills. And it kind of like let me fellowship with them in another level, like outside of the building. So it was cool. Yeah, our foothills are pretty awesome in that way. Yeah, we got to get Kyle out there.
Did you guys do like a Bible study when you got out there?
So,
or like a fellowship thing?
It's like a fellowship thing. So I've been riding.
Was there
out
a name for it?
Yeah, it's called Dirt Church.
I thought that was it. Okay, because I've heard of that. I've heard of that. That's cool.
It's called Dirt Church. We just go out there, we ride.
I was trying to pull it out, but I was like, I don't want to say it if it's not yours. So I was trying to just fish.
And it's not like my friend Brent, actually, Milton, he's the one who came up with the idea of making the rides more than a ride, because he could see the benefit. And like me and him, our relationship of he mentored me, we poured into each other's lives. And then his wife, she has like a doctorate in psychology, and she's like, why don't you guys ever like take a moment when you're out there riding, stop riding and just like talk about life. And we're like, we're guys, we just ride, you know? Yeah. And so he came up with the questions like, what's hard in your life and what are you thankful for? And man, at one point we had like 50 people up there.
Wow.
That's cool.
So I have
crazy.
a question for you two. So being out there, like when you're riding and you're in nature and, you know, you have that moment where you're kind of exhausted, maybe you've taken a break. Do you reflect like and sit there and think, man, like this is really cool just to be alive? Like, do you guys sit down and have those moments?
I think so. Yeah, I do a lot. Just driving, riding around and just, all you're doing is it's just you and your thoughts out there and you're suffering, you know, and just, I don't know.
You could probably solve some of the world's problems with a bike ride.
They have been solved before,
Yeah.
But you forget them by the time you get back. You're so tired.
Yeah, and you can have some really good conversations with God out there just because you are alone sometimes, or the people you're with, they kind of know what's going on in your life. So it makes it an opening for God to speak to you. I know some of the strongest conversations I've had with like Pastor Hector have been when we're on a bike ride, not when we're in church.
Yeah.
We're on a bike ride somewhere and the conversation starts. Like when I was depressed, the best conversations I ever had were on a bike, and it helped me get out. Big time.
That's rad.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And there's always something that you can do out there that the best part is that it gets you outside. It gets you with other people. And it helps you heal, you know, It helps you grow. It helps you get out of depression. Or, I mean, for me, that's what it did. It pulled me out. So, yeah, it was a big, big thing. I think we got another photo here. Oh, yeah. There's the rock stars.
Yep.
What race is that?
That was a street bike race. I just picked that up last year, and I thought I got to try it all. If it got wheels, I'm going to race it. So. But yeah, that's my wife,
but
Shelly.
you're not only racing, like you're winning.
Yeah.
You didn't just pick up street biking, you picked it up and then started winning.
Yeah. I mean, there's even this guy called Vegan Cyclist. He's like this. He's got like hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. And he's all, oh yeah, I went on a ride with him. And I was like, you went on a ride with the Vegan Cyclist?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. And he went and rode with them.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't ride with that dude. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's my wife, Shelly, daughter, Lexi, and my son, Zach.
That's awesome.
So they're out there supporting. So,
and they definitely ride too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That is good. All right. I think we got 2 more photos. Let's see what else we got on there.
Okay.
Oh, who is that guy?
So we got Mark Abler bass fishing. And my son and myself were... I think that was Father's Day last year, and we got to go fishing and stuff together. So that was super cool. And
yeah. So is your dad like a pro fisherman?
He liked to think he is. Yeah.
I know
he's good. He fishes a lot. Yeah, he's doing really well with it and stuff. And he's got a good follow on Instagram, that's for sure. So
oh yeah, every post you post, he likes it.
Yeah.
He does.
So what's on your neck?
That was a pretty special moment, fishing with my dad and my son and stuff like that. But that thing on my neck, we try to forget about that.
What's the story with that?
Oh yeah, so I broke my neck, and that was right before COVID hit in 22, end of February, and 2 weeks before I put on my first big mountain bike event.
Yeah.
As the director.
So just in case you didn't hear that, he said he broke his neck. So he's right here.
But he just casually blows it all off like, oh, I just broke my neck. I'm like,
Yeah, like
I'm still walking.
deal.
There's people that
That's a
are
big
worse
deal.
off than me. So I mean, there's no.
Well, that's a
I don't know.
blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Right.
Honestly, that's cool.
So when you broke your neck, like how do you feel like God helped you get through that difficulty? Because everybody has that moment where it's an unexpected injury. You know, it's like nobody expects to break their neck,
Right.
especially where you broke it. you
Yeah.
know?
So, man, yeah, it was a crazy thing. I didn't know I broke my neck. I was able to move everything and stuff right after I did it. And I just knew I was super sore, and ended up going to the doctor, and they went to urgent care, and they told me I broke a worse bone than actually did. So it kind of freaked me out, and then put me in a collar, took me an ambulance ride to KMC, and then spent a bunch of time in there, and they found out it was C7. It was a pretty good break, but I didn't end up needing surgery and stuff like that. So it was, I don't know. It was a blessing. So the way that worked out too was pretty amazing too. So I did that in February. I was still able to put the mountain bike race on, and then COVID hit the weekend of our mountain bike race. So I had all that healing time with my family while we're quarantined for the first part of it. My wife's at home teaching, and my kids are home from school and stuff like that. So I was able to be home with them. So I just kind of look at it as it was a positive thing, you know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't believe that I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I
don't
think,
dwell on it.
Yeah, and I think like God, he never wastes anything. Like if you have something that happens in your life that's really hard, know that God will use it. He's not just going to leave it there and let it go to waste, you know? Because I remember that, like, it was the first year you put on the Keysville, right? And it was probably the hardest because he had an injury, a crazy injury. He had a broken neck, right? All new crew helping him, including me. I was helping him put it on. And then COVID hits. So we've got all these laws starting to get hand down. I mean, it wasn't full blown, but I mean, there was some scared people already walking around.
Yeah, it kind of hit. People didn't know when they came back from the mountains back to their towns where they lived and stuff. It was different.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. There wasn't anybody around, and it was like, shock. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Even some of the athletes that were going to come from out of states and stuff, they said, "Oh, we're not going to go." And we're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? But he still put it on, and it was successful. I remember that. And then it got freezing cold that year too. I remember that too. That was a hard trial. I will say that, having a broken neck, putting on your first event, but you see it as a benefit because you got to spend that time with your kids.
Yep.
Perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
I've always
awesome.
been, try to be optimistic about everything. I did get the Optimist Award when I was in 8th grade too, so that kind of left
just another trophy for the Ablers. I think we have one more photo. Nope, we don't have one more. All right, thank you, son. But I mean, this is the part of the show where we're kind of like looking at it and going, I mean, you did a backflip in Travis Pastrana's foam pit. I mean, no, we have never had a guest who has ever done something like that.
I want to hear a little bit about, can we dive in if we have a minute? Team Action Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's a big deal. Like, and that's cool. It kind of motivates me, and I'm not even that action of a dad. I want to be an action dad, and I see it, and I'm like, these guys are radder than me. I got to get a bike.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that. What is Team Action Dad?
So Team Action Dad, right now, we're a nonprofit organization, and we're putting on events for the community and stuff, try to get people outside doing different activities and stuff like that, from mountain biking, road biking. We're just building on it right now. We want to just do a lot of fun events and stuff. I want to tie in some fishing stuff too, just anything. That'd
be cool.
We're outside, and I want to use that to raise money for different charities and stuff like that too in town. If we can get I just want to bring the community together and do stuff like that. I have some ideas for some big rides and stuff to try to get the community and everybody together. So
what I think is cool about it is that it inspires, from what I've seen, it inspires like dads to be like active and involved, like with their families and stuff too. You know what I mean? Like the dad, that's half the name of it. You know what I mean? And right now, I know not to get too deep, but like right now we're in the most fatherless generation that we've ever seen.
Big time.
With the father still alive, not counting like wars. And right now is like a big time when fathers are alive, but they're just not present. They're not like doing anything like that. So to me, it's kind of like every time I see the shirt or I see something, like, man. In fact, I went on a bike ride with my daughter yesterday, and I thought about it. I'm like, we need to get out and do this.
Yeah, just try to come home from work and not just sit on the couch and watch TV or whatever.
Grab a beer.
Yeah, just go outside and go for a walk with the family, go do something, get the kid on the bike or something like that, just stay moving.
I think too, it like creates camaraderie between dads, because like you go out and ride and sometimes there's like a 20-year-old guy or a 30-year-old guy, and he's wearing the Team Action Dad, and he's a dad, so automatically you're like connected.
You see it, and you're like, I get it,
like you're one of us.
Yeah, you're one of us,
like one of us good people.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to be. You're at some event somewhere, and you see a guy with a Team Action Dad shirt on, you're just like, oh, hey, what's this guy? He's got to do something cool or whatever. If you're into surfing, skateboarding, or something like that, you can still talk about something. You probably end up knowing the same people, and
it's very
kind of an icebreaker too.
Yeah, when I race the Death Race, just for full disclosure, he is one of my sponsors. But I was my first time wearing the kit to an event, and like people seen that Team Action Dad kit, and it was so cool to explain to them, like, well, we're a bunch of dads and we don't lay on the couch all the time. I was like, we're out there and we're doing things in our communities, we're having fun, but we're all about the action. And it was cool. I mean, you can describe it however you want.
Dads that do more.
Yeah, that aren't made fun of, that aren't the joke,
Right, yeah. You see on TV and all the time, dads are the butt of the joke and stuff like that or whatever. Kind of like, it's like, let's build dads up, Let's,
a year ago, the coolest thing like dads did is like grill in their high socks and their New Balances. Like, we're trying to create a new vision when people think of dads, not just grilling in the yard.
Oh man, that's cool. Funny.
I'm just assuming mine, my Team Action Dad shirt's in the mail or something.
Oh, okay.
It's
in the mail.
It's being custom made right now.
Oh my goodness.
The pleat and the pants.
We're tailoring ours to we're gonna pull the sleeves off.
Oh yeah.
For your those guns.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you also serve in our community though. So you're on a board or something like that?
Yeah. So I got on the board for the Parks and Recreation for District 1. So
that's right. That's awesome. So that is awesome.
That was cool. I didn't really know anything about it. I just like saying yes to stuff. And a friend of mine, Scott Tillery, called me and he's like, hey, you need to go. There's a spot open on the board. You need to go apply for that. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. So I went to work that night. I was working nights and went on the computer and I found the application just by chance. I was looking around and then found it and filled it out. And then I think it was a couple of months later, they called me in for an interview. And so that's a new experience. That's pretty fun. So hopefully we can get some stuff going for the community, like bike wise and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's special.
Yeah, we got a lot of, baseball and basketball stuff, whatever. And then there's a lot of kids that ride skateboards and bike and rollerblade and stuff like that or whatever, and scooters and stuff. So
that's great. That's good. Well, thank you, Ryan, for being on our show. So do you have, it's kind of like a moment where you could say something that you'd want to leave the audience with something, like what's something that you think they need to hear today?
I don't know. Maybe just say yes more to stuff. Yeah, just don't sit around like you get that invite to go do something, whatever. Don't take the easy. No, I don't know. I think I'll just stay at home and just chill around. Just if maybe it's uncomfortable. I'm super uncomfortable coming to this thing, so it's like just start saying yes and just doing stuff. You'll be surprised in what you can make it through, or meet people and just be open to talk to people and stuff like that, and just be a good listener too. And
that's awesome. Yeah, I think Josh, he wraps that up really good. He's been saying it a lot. My friend Josh Vietti, he goes, if it's good, do it. Like, because he's like, if God tells you to do something and you're not sure, if it's good, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it anyway. So it's kind of like that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, Pastor Tom puts it this way too. He says, like, if it's something like that, was the first time I've ever heard it. And I think I was going somewhere with a family out of town, and I said, hey, I'm going to miss this thing because I have to go to this. He goes, Kyle, you'd be sinning if you didn't. I was like, oh, that's good. Like, you'd be sinning if you didn't go and do that thing.
Yeah.
It was a different perspective. I was like, oh, I should do things more, because what's the consequence if you don't?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you guys very much for watching our show. And we hope that you guys can give us a follow, put down some comments, share. all our Instagram, all our Facebook, all our YouTube. Get out there and share it. So everybody.
Huge special appreciation to our tech team over there, the backbone of this. Right?
Oh, yeah, big time. We've got Nathaniel Tweed, Mike Harvey, our producer. We also have our creative consultant, Tessa Touchstone, and Taylor Touchstone. And we have MLH Productions also helping us with distribution and marketing, which is awesome. Thank you, Mike Harvey.
Putting it together.
Yeah, great show. Thank you, guys. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week.